Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great. In today's video, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of discussing technical concepts, we're going to focus on improving our analytical thinking. And we'll do that through a combination of interesting puzzles and real-world case studies. These exercises are not just meant for fun. They actually help us improve our problem-solving ability, our logical thinking, and even the way we communicate our ideas during interviews. So, let's get started. To begin with, I want to talk about why puzzles and case studies are so useful. Solving puzzles trains our minds to think differently and recognize patterns, while case studies help us understand how business problems are approached in the real world. Over time, these skills build confidence and help us present ourselves much better in interviews and at work. Now, let's start with an interesting puzzle. Imagine there are 3 switches outside a room and only one bulb inside the room. Only one switch controls the bulb, and you are allowed to enter the room only once. At first, this sounds impossible, but if we think carefully, there is a clever solution. We can turn on the first switch and leave it on for a few minutes. Then we turn it off and switch on the second one before entering the room. If the bulb is glowing, then the second switch controls it. If the bulb is not glowing but feels warm, then the first switch was the correct one because it had enough time to heat the bulb. And if the bulb is off and cold, then obviously the third switch controls it. The interesting thing about this puzzle is that it teaches us to use more than one source of information instead of relying only on what we can see. Let's look at another famous puzzle. A bat and a ball together cost 110 rupees. And the bat costs 100 rupees more than the ball. Most people immediately say that the ball costs 10 rupees, but that answer is actually incorrect. Let's solve it properly. Suppose the ball costs X rupees. Then the bat must cost X plus 100 rupees. Adding them together gives us 110 rupees. That means 2x equals 10, and therefore x equals 5. So the ball costs 5 rupees and the bat costs 105 rupees. This puzzle reminds us that intuition is not always right and that we should always verify our answers with logic. Now let's make things a little more challenging. Suppose 5 people named A, B, C, D, and E are sitting in a row. We know that A sits immediately to the left of B. We also know that D and C always have to sit together because C is immediately to the right of D. Another condition says that E cannot sit next to either A or B, and D cannot sit at any of the two ends. Whenever we have these kinds of arrangement problems, the first thing I like to do is simplify the conditions. Instead of thinking about 5 separate people, we can think of A and B as one pair and D and C as another pair. Now, since D cannot sit at either end, D can only occupy the second, third, or fourth position. So rather than trying all possible combinations, we can eliminate many arrangements immediately. Suppose we start by placing D in the middle positions. Since C must always be immediately to the right of D, they move together as a block. Similarly, A and B also have to stay together, with A always appearing before B. Now we have one more important condition. E cannot be adjacent to A or B. This condition helps us eliminate many invalid arrangements. Working through the possibilities step by step, we finally arrive at 2 valid arrangements. The first arrangement is E, D, C, A, B. And the second arrangement is A, B, D, C, E. The main takeaway from this puzzle is not the final answer itself. The real lesson is learning how to simplify conditions, group related variables together, and eliminate impossible cases one by one. That's exactly the same approach analysts use when solving business problems in the real world. Speaking of business problems, let's now move away from puzzles and start thinking like analysts. Whenever we are given a case study, the goal is not to jump directly to the answer. The first step is always to understand the problem. Then we need to structure our approach, analyze the available information, and finally recommend practical solutions. For example, imagine an online clothing retailer has experienced a 20% decline in repeat purchases over the last quarter. Interestingly, website traffic and new customer registrations have increased. As analysts, our first thought should be that customer acquisition is not the issue. The problem seems to be customer retention. Next, we should investigate possible reasons. Maybe customers are unhappy with product quality. Maybe delivery times are too long. Perhaps prices are high compared to competitors, or customers are simply not receiving enough personalized recommendations. Once we have identified the possible reasons, we should analyze customer reviews, return rates, repeat purchase cycles, and feedback from customers. Based on our findings, we can recommend actions such as improving product quality, introducing loyalty programs, providing better customer support, or sending personalized offers. The key lesson here is that business problems should be approached in a structured and data-driven manner instead of making assumptions. Before ending the video, here's a quick puzzle for you. A farmer has 17 sheep, and all but 9 die. How many sheep are left? Many people overthink this question, but the answer is simply 9. The phrase, all but 9, means that everything except 9 has died. And finally, I have one challenge for you. Imagine a hotel with 100 rooms numbered from 1 to 100. Guest number 1 opens every room. Guest number 2 changes every second room. Guest number 3 changes every third room, and this process continues until guest number 100. Which room numbers remain open at the end? I'll give you a hint. Think about which numbers have an odd number of factors. Try solving this puzzle and write your answer in the comments. Once I receive enough responses, I'll reveal the solution in the next video or in the comments section itself. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, analytical thinking is often more valuable than complex calculations. The more you practice these kinds of puzzles and case studies, the better you'll become at solving problems and presenting your ideas with confidence. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.